But man, it's so fascinating that, everything changed for you once you got on the dance team. Like, yeah, you grew a foot, which means you're totally different. You're going through all the hormones, you're going through everything, and you get on that dance team, and all of a sudden it's like you have purpose and
purpose, visibility, shine. And I've always been one to, I'm a Leo, I'm all fire Leo. I have pink hair, right? And I have this total duality of being in the spotlight and being behind the curtain. And it's like, it's like, as a Leo, people, the feedback I've received in my life is, oh, Leos all want to be center of attention. And I don't feel like that at all, but I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. So I'm always sort of in this pushing back of like being humble, or like not, I was in Clubhouse so many times. Rarely, maybe I've gotten on stage a few times. It's because I'm finding this place of, because sometimes the feedback has been, like roll eyes, like, oh, like I'm too much energy for people. Right. And so then I'm like, oh, and then I'm like dim down, but then I'm like, no, I have energy. And like, it's like, where do I fit? So I'm back to what you were saying earlier too, dancing with that discernment of when to listen, when to say something, when to be in the spotlight, when to
step
support,
forward, when
right?
you step back. I mean, it's literally like stepping towards the audience or stepping away is part of the choreography. So you're literally, part of, whether you're part of the, choreography, creating the choreography is another, thing altogether. But just when you have choreography, whatever it is, it's going to dictate certain things. And it also then frees you up to do other things.
Again, going back to structure, right?
Yeah.
The structure, creativity needs the structure. And that way, everybody, especially if you're working on a team, it gets defined as to when that person's going to do the step forward on stage and when the person. So then you start to dance with others, right? So everything's a dance. And that's why I do love dance, because I see it in my life now. I see it all over my life. It's all a dance. It's when to step forward, when to step back, when to listen, when to use your voice, right?
When I first got to Los Angeles for acting, I met a producer, and he basically said, welcome to the dance. No one says yes, no one says no, they just dance. And one of the things that people don't understand about, the entertainment business is that it doesn't really work like any other industry, because it's just in a constant state of flow. They're just always dancing. Where, the tech industry, finance industry, anything else, or music industry even, which is a subset of the entertainment industry, has some definitives. So, either you're getting a record deal or you're not getting a record deal, and, you're either going to get a meeting or not getting a meeting. For acting, it's a little bit different. Like, you may not get the meeting now, but they don't want to say no because they may need you later. So, like, even subsets within the entertainment industry have some definitives. Acting, zero definitives. You're just in a constant state of flux waiting.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm curious, from your structure, in that, because you did have a flow state kind of going on, it sounds like, because you got into a groove and so you're just kind of rolling with it. Did it take away some of the hesitation in choices with, hanging out with friends, or what friends you're hanging out with, or what activities you were doing after school? So did the being in the flow of the dance group, did that then make it easier to make a lot of your choices because they're kind of preordained?
That's a great question. And as you ask that, this is what I see sort of that plays and dictates so much of the navigation of my life. It all begins for me in where the creative center is, right? So in terms of the dance, it gave me a place to express myself. So then there was the expression there. And from that expression, that creative expression, everything else budded, everything else took root. So it gave me community. It gave me structure. It gave me purpose. It gave me discipline. So after school, I had something to do. We went to dance practice 2 or 3 times a week. And then being inside of that and moving my body and being in that creative process joy. That's my joy. And so from joy, my heart's expanded. And from that, I glow and I'm dynamic. And then so I became more visible in that way. And then I'm doing something I'm proud of. And then there's feedback like applause. And there's for doing something that feels good. So I'm always trying to connect with that cycle of doing something good that is my creative expression and joy, and having the feedback from that is inspiring others. That for me, that cycle is what I live for. That is my purest joy. And so when I'm happiest in life is when I am in that same mode, be it even if it's a project that I'm taking on. When I'm in that creative place, everything comes from that. Community, friends, money, my magnetism. And then I'm like powerful. That's where my power comes from. Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, it's great that you know that, but so you got to college, and you went through community college, but you got to college, you were taking marketing, you kind of found it easy and enjoyable from a creative standpoint, but you were then also looking to challenge yourself. So were you dancing at that point in time? Were you part of any kind of club or group or anything that, helped again dictate some of those choices and create a more sense of flow?
So when I was making that choice, when I was in the last 2 years of college, so I was really taking all of my finance courses. I was really specializing in my finance and marketing courses. I was pretty much out in the world doing the survival game. I was living in Atlanta. Atlanta was a big city. It's exciting. Atlanta has so much vibrancy. So I was there and I was working at CNN. And I had 3 jobs. So I had 3 jobs. I've always been the survivor too. So there's that whole element of my life. So I'm surviving, I'm going to school. So my life was very, very busy.
Surviving like everyone's surviving, needing to feed themselves, or surviving because your parents left you to your own devices at age 15 or something? So this is interesting. I was writing about this. Survival for me was my choice and my decision as my mode of getting, not survival. Let me just say it this way: independence. I made a choice to become very independent. And that's when I first realized my power. I was probably how old were you?
I was probably around, probably around either between 12 and 14. And I just made a choice that my life was going to I needed to create for my life. No one's going to come save me. Okay. I think I was dealing with probably daddy stuff. Like, when's daddy going to come? This was me. I was like, I am going to be a powerful, independent person. And I'm going to go out into the world and be independent and be the explorer that I am. So that was a very, very specific choice.
Was your dad not around then growing up?
No, not at all.
Not from even 5 years old, not at all.
I think maybe when I was still in the crib and not past the crib.
Interesting. Okay. So it was just you and your mom, or do you have any siblings?
One sister who's
older
2 years younger than me.
Younger.
2 years younger.
So you're the trailblazer. You're the one kind of taking the lead on all of these things. So, wow. So your mom was the, the quintessential, single mom that's like super successful, crushing it. And 12 to 14, that's like middle school to high school. So like high school is a crossover. So in that period of time is when you decided that you needed to be independent, which, so the survival that you're talking about in college was you being independent on your own without your mom's help.
In a big city, wanting with big dreams, lots of possibility.
Did you get a job, or how did you assert your independence, to survive on your own at somewhere between 12 and 14? Did you get a job in addition to dance and high school and everything else?
So I've been working and independently making my own money since I was 15. And then I moved out of my house. I graduated high school at 17. And so I moved out of my house at 17. So I've been on my own for a very long time doing that independent survival.
So what were the first steps, or what were the first things that you did to claim your independence, between those ages of 12 to 14? Because those are big formative years. I mean, lots of chemical stuff going on. You grew a foot, lots of changes with, high school. From elementary, middle to high school, there's a big transfer in how we are taught and, what our educational system, the social pressures, puberty.
Mm-hmm.
So what were the choices that you made, or what were the things that you felt defined your independence, from 12 to 14?
Yeah.
That you remember.
I need to make my own money so I can make my own decisions.
Want more? Check out this clip or the full episode. And don't forget to leave a comment. If you want more conversations and clips, check out our channel. Thanks for listening. See you next time.